guys, Matt from Australian Pipelining Supplies. Just quickly want to run through the difference between the old satellite heads and the new ones. The new ones are the ones that feature the pulley system, so you can do a 45-degree junction coming from upstream. So it's like a backwards 45. The old system, which is the one right here, has the attachment where the hose goes straight through into the branch line, and you can retract it, and the same with the cord. Whereas the new one's slightly different, and the actual fitting itself instead of having the steam line in a pull through sort of scenario, what it actually does is it terminates at the port right here in a compression fitting, and then it starts again on the inside here. So there's no actual air line being pulled through there. It's only the actual rope itself that gets pulled through. So I'm just going to show you how to build it, how to configure it on the inside, and then you guys should be pretty good to go. Okay, so the internal components of the packer, this is a 100mm one, by the way, but you can see it's actually got so your steam in is this guy here, and then that's your outlet that runs to your little steam regulator. So how this works is basically now we put a piece in from here up to here, so I've got another termination point up the end here, so that's where my steam's going to end. And you can see the little pulley system here. Okay, so what I'm going to do firstly is set it up so that it's just going to be a regular forward facing patch. So we're going to be going from downstream up into a 45, and then we'll switch it around and I'll show you how to rig it all up when we're doing it backwards. So we're going to use that little pulley system. So we make our piece up here. We've got these little Y junction gizmos. So these are just little 8mm pneumatic fittings. So that's your splitter. So that'll, because we're going to have steam going to the furthest point in this bladder and up into the junction also. So we put our line in here. So the distance of that piece of hose there is around 300mm. That's generally long enough, and then you'd make, excuse me, at the other end here, so we're actually going to have steam coming out at this termination point. So what we've got is this little fitting here, and if you zoom in on that, mate, you can see it's got little steam outlet holes there. So I'm going to use that as my termination point there, so the steam's going to go to the furthest point, like so. And then you just connect the dots. So one in there, one in here, and that's ready to go. So I'm just going to take off my little back nut here from my cord. So setting this up for a downstream application, you just literally slide it. Can you see that? I'm going to slide the packer in underneath the horn, obviously, and then I'm going to connect that air line into there. And what it will actually do inside, it will actually coil like so, inside there, which is how it allows it to open up. This guy, just going to try not to get it all tangled if you can. There's not a lot of room inside these, like the 6-inch ones have got a bit more space, but that's basically ready to go there. So just make sure you connect your air line from your steam box into the right into the one that connects with that hose. So I always just mark it with a texter just so I can see it, because although you can feel it through the plastic, but still. So that there is then going to go into my steam box. Fasten that, and then basically your blue hose will go in there, and that'll run out to your steam regulator thingy. Okay. So that's front ways. Backwards, we've basically got to pull it apart and set it up so it's reversed. And all you really need to do for that is you've got to switch this around. So hang on. So switch that around, that stays in there. So what we're going to be doing is obviously retracting it down this way. So we're going to use this little pulley system in order to have our rope pulled through. Now, what you need to do, gets a little bit tricky. Same again, you've got to tuck it underneath your horn, and it won't go anywhere. Try to manage not to do that. Okay. So now, so the rope goes through your pulley. Okay, and then of course you've got to connect your air line in there. So. Alright, now you're going to have to get like a push rod or something. And feed it through from the other end. So you can pull it. And again, you've got to try and make sure it doesn't get tangled. I've done a really bad job of that. Come have a look at this. See how all that rope's all twisted around the thing there? That's not very good. So see how it's wrapped around this? So I'm going to redo that. Pull that past a little bit further, unwrap mine. And then this rope goes through my little fitting here. And that's that. I'll blow this one up for you. So leave a little bit of the felt, the blister over the head there. If you're doing it on your own, you can just use an elastic band to hold it, just while you tape it. Just the other thing as well, when you get these blisters, they're always a little bit longer. You always end up having to cut about 100mm off. Just make sure whenever you cut these down, only ever cut it off the upstream end, don't ever cut it off the downstream end, because what happens is this horn, when it's retracted all the way, if you've cut this end of your packer, you can't retract it all the way. So make sure when you shorten it from the top end. Yeah, we learned that the hard way. So that is set up in reverse. What I want to do is my silicone spray. So just get yourself a silicone spray if you haven't got one. We don't use petroleum-based stuff. And stick it in the outlet, so where the condensate line. And just give it a good spray in there. Just helps it all lubricate. So air in, and then my condensate drain, which I won't connect today, so I'm just gonna use I'll just tie it off a piece just so I can keep the air tight in there. Just a plug. Okay, now just gonna put some air into this. Alright, so that's all the way out. On the ends, we just like to mark it just so we can see on our camera that it's all the way out when it's in the pipe. So if we're watching on our camera when we're actually inverting it, and all we see is, all I can see is that, then I know it is an hour all the way. Whereas if I can see it all the way, then I know that's out. Alright, so that's good. So now I'm going to turn my air off, disconnect my steam line, and give it another spray now that the branch line's out. Obviously all we're doing is just trying to lubricate the inside and just make it take that friction off. And then we're going to retract it. Retracting it, we're just going to back the pressure off so that it's not quite that soft, but maybe like that. And as you've got one person pushing in on this, and the other one's just going to take the slack up. So you're not actually pulling it in, you're just taking up whatever they push. Your vacuum on. Air it. Now what we've been doing with these as well is we've been sleeving the body in packet tube. So the non-slip product, I'll show you, we'll make it up, we'll show you how we do it. So what you do have to do is actually cut out where your junction's going to be. So okay, so you just line that up like so. Just got to tape it off at the end. And then we'll put some air back, doing it, Joe, put it back on the camera circle. See how it lines up. I'll put the air back into this. So that way you just protect the body of your packer from resin. Take this end off. Cut away the excess. And just put a bit of a nick in the outside bag there, just in case any air gets back into it, it'll be able to bleed. And so, and then you can mark this, if you mark up this plastic for your felt, next time you use it, it won't make a difference. So I'll get my liner, get it on there. And then also on here I'll mark my center line, so I can orientate that properly when it's in the pipe. And yeah, that's pretty much it.